Edition of XFeed. My name is the Schiller. Today, of course, another crazy day of happenings within the Web3 world. If you want to share this with a friend, I'd absolutely love you. If not, you do you. Okay, so yesterday, well, technically speaking, this morning, last night, May 28th, which is still technically today, 12 minutes after it struck midnight, two let me see if I get this right. $2.1 billion Bitcoin transferring from Mt. Gox to an unknown wallet. 32,000 Bitcoin. Holy guacamole. With blockchain here with the insights just in Mt. Gox. Cold wallet transfer 12.24K, about 840 million, which this was before I think some of the other transfers ended up happening. As you can see here, this date is marked as the 27th. Again, about 2 hours before that happened. And so obviously a lot more has come since. But anyway, the Mt. Gox address currently holds 137,000 Bitcoin. Mt. Gox will distribute its holdings of 142,000 Bitcoin and 143,000 BCH to creditors before October 31st. Imagine if this guy talked about anything of value. Yo, we're talking about freaking $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Do you think that doesn't have value? Holy guacamole. You know what's good? Tacos. And you know what day it is? That's right. It's Tuesday. Pitch, I hope you had a taco on this Taco Tuesday. Now, kind of scrolling through here, it's just massive amounts. And they kind of give updates on everything that was going on. But the idea simply is a whole bunch of people are going to come into Bitcoin. What is that going to do to the markets here? You can see on the chart last night, it took like a little bit of a churn. I mean, yeah, like we've had spikes down and it's retracing. If you go on the 7 days, it doesn't look really like that drastic. I mean, here it looks like, okay, we're going to make it. And then, oh my God, as quickly as you can say wag me, you say not going to make it. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. But still, interesting to see what the fallout of that will be. Send me some money so I can buy tacos. Yo, do you take root? Got him. Okay, so this is a while ago, but it's talking about Pokemon ENS names. And I've been talking about root name service a little bit, and I picked up a couple of the names because, again, it's like $10. And some of the ones on Ethereum here are selling for earlier, but $9,500. Unbelievable. And Scyther's not even that insanely popular. Snorlax here going for 2 ETH. Kind of crazy as well. Are people going to care about these digital names? That's going to be a question. I think like if I'm going into a video game and I don't have like Schiller as my name, I don't like care that much. You know, everybody's got those alternatives, but there are going to be people that are like, nah, I want my actual identity. Scyther is the best Gen 1 Pokemon. I do like it. But do you think that it's as recognized within the top 10 realm? If you're going to give me the top 10 Pokemons from popularity, I don't know if it cracks it. Okay, so a little bit of FUD. We do love a little bit of FUD here and there. So diving into the Pixelmon FUD, coming here from @House of Yogi X, and the Pixel Pals airdrop that we highlighted yesterday happened, and I kind of joked saying, haha, look, it's only like 217,000 because we have all of these collections saying, look at our millions and millions of dollars of prizes. So anything that's a little bit lesser, kind of was a thing. So for a game that was free to play, didn't require any NFTs, and where the only expense was your time, we have some entitled players that wanted more. Shocked. Okay, listen, so we're getting FUD in every single collection because they didn't get dropped enough free capital. Unbelievable. Plus the optional 219,000 prize pool that had a pay to play element where the winners were all in the green. If you risk capital, especially in gaming, you must realize only a few will win and the long tail will be EV. Negative EV. It's interesting that we still have so many conversations about all of the Web3 games only being about money and prize pools. I get that this is addressing FUD and talking to that specifically, but I don't know. Is it a thing where everything on the blockchain has to have something that is going to have extra value? I think we can make the argument that yes, but not a high price point, right? Like, I mean, if you consider Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, you're gonna have those cards you can go to the store that are used in decks, and you can get them for like 50 cents, right? But the question then becomes, for everything else, all the money. You get the idea. So anyway, it looks like 500,000 players were a part of that, which is insane. 6 million plus minutes played. The total prize pool is 5 million of the Pixel Mon token, and then the 218,000 USDT rewards. Now, the cool part with this breakdown that they had was they highlighted somewhere in here, right here, for the top player. So the top player, if you grinded it out, made $68,000 essentially, and the top 10 on average made 18, closer to 19,000 for a game that was played for 2 months and was optional. It does give kind of flashbacks to what was going on with heavy metal before, but damn, things look like they're interesting within the blockchain space. Ledger, we've highlighted this before, that Stacks, the physical hardware wallet, is getting shipped. I swear we highlighted this 2 weeks ago. Now all their official comms are out there highlighting what is going on. And this guy's given a shilling post about why it's better. So I'll read the first thing here. So crypto security relies on 3 main elements: generating your secret inside the enclave, cryptographically implementation inside the enclave, and the ability to verify transactions on a trusted display. Ledger was the first to tackle this head on by incorporating a secure element chip and implementing an open OS with its cryptography in it and using it to drive the device's screen. So all this other stuff, you're going to get the mumbo jumbo. Yeah, listen, you guys, the Schiller limitation, we've peaked at that. But the reason that we need to talk about this is, will Ledger now think, hey, maybe we should come out with a phone? The device looks like a phone. It's not a phone. Solana's done a phone. Is Ledger going to be next on the block to create one of the mobile experiences? Potentially. Pranksy. You guys remember good old Pranksy? Well, I guess for that CryptoPunk collection with Nina, that they are airdropping those 500 pieces to individuals that hold her previous works. I guess Pranksy has 200 of them, and they said it's per wallet. So he had to make 199 secondary wallets to be able to get max allocation of potentially getting that. I do not understand in 2024 how that is a thing. It don't make any damn sense. Now, certain collections out there have done a phenomenal job at rewarding people that have several assets all within one, but I mean, it's 2024. We can't be doing this. So Elio Trades, who's a big YouTuber, a lot of you guys, if you happen to be watching on YouTube, probably have seen him, and you might even subscribe to him. I've watched a ton of his videos, and this, to me, was fascinating. Yesterday, we highlighted how Michael Saylor kind of did a 180 after saying, Bitcoin is the only thing that's going to survive, to it getting approved for the Ethereum ETF in the United States, and then kind of saying, you know what? There's going to be applications, tools, things are going to be fantastic. And this kind of highlighted the mentality, I guess, of Saylor even before that was really something that he believed in, not the DeFi aspect, but like it was only going to be Bitcoin. And he says, I had an interview with Saylor in 2020, and I asked him about altcoins. He went off on a rant so dark about how the government was going to imprison and destroy the lives of altcoin devs. I literally never even edited or attempted to publish it. I would just meme about it with my wife ever since that day. His pivot this week is so unbelievably funny to me, I can't find the words. For what it's worth, I think him pushing the Bitcoin cult has been a major net positive for my bags, so I'm a fan. But bros, don't believe everything you hear on TV. Altcoins have and will continue to be the best opportunity in human history. That's something I've always tried to preach here. If I say something and you're like, Shell, that's garbage. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Everybody's got different opinions of things. But knowing the bag bias behind certain opinions, just listen. It makes things more enjoyable because it's just like, okay, I have the full understanding. That transparency gives closure. Okay, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Can I be brutally honest? I am absolutely addicted to Pokemon trading cards within like the last 48 hours. I was scrolling on YouTube, and under the gaming section, I normally watch like League of Legends and other stuff. It suggested the regional card game, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me go try out the app. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but holy heck, The amount of different Pokemon games, from collectibles to the ability to play several mobile games to genres throughout history, it's actually insane and really shows the scope of what, if you have a very successful IP, can become. And also, it has the historical aspect where, for people that are like, hey, we want to go and collect those physical cards, you can go out and do that and not really have as much of a worry. And it's making me think like, hey, I feel really passionate about this. And I haven't felt super passionate about different things within Web3 for a little bit. I find like a lot of things cool, but at the same time, I think that we're kind of at a standstill of like, there's still technological barriers. But at a point when these things pop off, holy guacamole. Pokemon is greater than Bitcoin. Hell yeah, brother. And so anyway, I still can't get over the fact that you cannot buy the digital assets in terms of like the Pokemon game online without buying the physical product to get the code. Feels like a reverse Pudgy Penguins with the whole Walmart thing. Now, on the topic of esports, video games, IP, League of Legends, they decided that they were going to retire one of their top esports pros, Faker. And with that, they're charging a legendary signature collection for 450 euros for a couple of video game skins. 49,000 RP, which is just like the League of Legends currency that returns under crypto. It's kind of funny to think about. And everyone is going out freaking out saying this is a cash grab. I can't believe this. This is awful. And it's just making me think, man, the industry is ripe for disruption. Skin looks cool, by the way, but yeah, for $400 for a couple of them, that's unbelievable. Blast has crossed $2 billion in DApp total value locked, making it the 6th largest on-chain economy globally. So as we see, it's Ethereum, Tron, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, Arbitrum, Blast. And then below that is Base, Merlin, Bitcoin, Avalanche, Polygon, and Optimism. So kind of crazy watching what happened with Blur, seeing them in Blast, and they are looking like they're coming for a lot of people's lunch. Quick little talk here, continuing with the esports thing. Optic, curious to see what happens in terms of them getting into esports. Seems like they're doing a ton of different collabs with major brands, including Juventus, the football team, and also I own Optic.root. And I also own Celtics.root. So imagine if Root Network gets anywhere and we're rocking and rolling with both those RNS handles for $10. Unbelievable. Lucanet's here saying reading and listening to the audible of what you're reading at the same time is the definition of peak performance. I don't think I could listen to an audiobook while I try to read it. That just hurts my brain. I don't know if this is a copy pasta or if he's done that, but that's questionable. Dota here from Forgotten Runes Wizards Cult saying, one problem I see with the ApeCoin governance, talking about Yuga Labs and ApeCoin here, is that the Yuga NFTs have no direct influence on power. True, we can stake the NFTs for the token, but there's not really any extra kind of multiplier or perk for having the NFTs within these votes. How could a token give an NFT community more governance leverage while still making the coin attractive independently? That was the question. If you have any thoughts, very interesting. I feel like the default answer for these things is like a multiplier, right? Like, oh, if you have the NFT, then you do a multiplier. But at a point, that becomes a problem, right? Because if somebody has, let's just say, 5 apes, and each one of them gets like a, let's just say like a 2x multiplier each, that's an insane amount. And then for somebody that has even more, and especially if you take that for like a mega whale and they have like 50, I don't think a multiplier system would work in this case, but it is interesting to look at. And again, the question about the fairness to the people that have higher allocations, kind of like the Praxis thing earlier. Is there a way that you don't punish the people that have more of a say? Alex Becker here with a post that I think it's pretty close to home because I feel like I'm very much in the same spot. But he says, I haven't touched a wallet, bought a coin, or even thought of trading or plays in months. The time for action was last year. This is simply a trial of patience to wait for last year's seeds to sprout. Anyone making moves is just going to go insane and burn out. I mean, we've been doing these streams. I've been highlighting different things and saying, no, like I feel like I kind of figured out what I wanted to do before. And look, guys, we're getting into Pokemon. We're finding some other life interest where we can kind of go back and take it to here. Now, speaking of life interests, if you're interested in the real world assets, I do have a new podcast called RWA Segments. I want to say the name backwards here, but it is down in the YouTube comments below if you're wanting to go check that out. We launched a session today where they tokenized casks, and they're working with different companies to digitize and tokenize things from inception and really sprout some change. It's cool to see, talking to a lot of people about how they're tokenizing a lot of real world asset industries and not just kind of focused on this NFT realm. So if you're wanting something a little bit different, would love for you guys to go check that out. And if you're following me on X, that is in my link tree there as well. Azuki with a post saying a new Azuki product is coming and we want you to be a part of it. Licensing submissions are now open for all Azuki, Elements, and Beans holders on the collector's profile. Details below. I do think Azuki's got some really cool graphics here. If you're watching on audio, it's just kind of a drawing of a street with a character casting call sign with a whole bunch of phone numbers. What's it called? Cut out at the bottom for somebody to rip off if they're wanting to go in. So submission details, all the Azuki's, Elementals, and Beans are qualified to enter. Characters will be hand selected by the art team. We are looking for characters with dope, unique traits. Okay, if you don't have dope, unique traits, you're screwed, brother. Submission deadline is 6 p.m. on the 11th, and that's it. Okay, cool. I don't have an Azuki, but if you do, there you go. You can take a stab at that. This is, if you're not sitting down right now and you're wanting the juice, we're going to squeeze it for you. This is crazy. This is game media with a public statement talking about Gala and Spider Tanks, one of the games that was running through Gala. Obviously, we've had some issues with Gala over the last little bit. And this one doesn't look too great either. Here's the public statement. Dear Spider Tanks community, we deeply regret not addressing you sooner, and we apologize for any confusion or concern our silence may have caused. Initially, we chose to defer to Gala Games for community communication as a courtesy. However, our respect turned to apprehension as Gala Games started threatening us with legal action in December. This inhibited us from speaking out sooner, but we believe now is the right time to do so. Our journey with Spider Tanks began when Gala Games approached us to form a partnership in early 2021. Under this partnership, Gala Games would publish, promote, and provide a development budget for Spider Tanks, one of our then unannounced projects. In return, we were tasked with delivering specific development milestones, with the final milestone scheduled for completion in November of 2021. Gala Games would, in turn, have rights to use the Spider Tanks IP for 3 years after reaching the scheduled milestone. Now, this is, I don't know, it seems kind of weird because this is the behind the scenes for a big company in Gala Games. And you kind of question, how does it look for other collections when we're not really privy to things behind the scenes? Like for NBA Top Shot early on, there was a lot of questions about, okay, what if the NBA just yanks the licensing right? Like, what if that happens? They're like, no, like a partnership's good for, don't worry about that was the answer. But here, like, Gala Games can use the Spider Tanks IP for 3 years after reaching this milestone. Okay, so now we're at that point. Sounds like things are bad. Let's continue. Initially hesitant and unfamiliar with NFTs and cryptocurrency, we were drawn to Gala Games' mission, empowering gamers to supplement their income and prioritizing the well-being of both games and gamers. The overwhelming monetary support Spider Tanks received from the Gala Games community in our first year after passing the node vote reaffirmed that we were not the only ones who believed in this mission. We continue to invest our share of the revenue into Spider Tanks as 2022 began, and with all scheduled development milestones behind us, motivated by our love for the game, our sense of responsibility to deliver on the community's expectations, and our trust in Gala Games to fulfill their part on the mission, we pressed on. And then you now insert a tweet here from things that preceded horrible events, just like that screenshot right there, right? Right. However, we soon began to notice troubling signs in Gala Games' behavior, not only in their collaboration with us, but also their intentions with our players. While Gala Games outwardly appeared dedicated to games, gamers, and their mission, their actions painted a different picture. Required Gala chain features, marketing commitments, and revenue payments were repeatedly delayed, while punitive systems like Honor were forcibly introduced into Spider Tanks. We took up responsibilities like Spider Fridays, making trailers, or organizing events to compensate for Gala Games' lack of resources for marketing and community engagement, while Gala Games aggressively expanded into unrelated industries like film and music. Again, a huge issue where a lot of people question the widespread of what people are challenging. Spending millions on fruitless celebrity partnerships, jets, and real estate. I'm sorry, what? Gala Games' prioritization of rapid growth and enrichment over their core vision and promise concerned us deeply. By 2023, it became evident that Gala Games had no intention of utilizing their half of the substantial 2021 Spider Tanks revenue or to fulfill their promises. This is the same issue with the Do you guys remember the BT orbs? Oh my goodness. They were charging like 11 ETH for an NFT that was like a soundtrack. And Casey Molten, they just floored the Azukis. Yo, that's unbelievable. I'm glad you're here though, brother. Pitch, imagine owning a Gala node. All right, I know, I look like a fish now. Holy sheesh. But this is insane. Okay, let's continue. They announced having burned the remainder of this revenue with the introduction of Gala V2. Okay. Their publisher responsibilities, such as user acquisition for Spider Tanks, were suddenly gated behind an eat what you kill principle. While monthly revenue and daily active users numbers were at an all-time low, Gala Games held Spider Tanks players responsible for coughing up again what they had already contributed, all under the premise that selling keeps the lights on and the game live. This realization was deeply distressing for us, as we had not only invested significantly in Spider Tanks, but had also committed heavily to a broader future with Gala Games based on their promises. We had invested considerable effort and resources into our other titles, Stoda and Wizards and Warriors, to prepare them for this future. Contracts for these titles were drawn up by Gala Games and signed by us, but despite initial letters of intent being signed and Gala Games leadership continuously expressing their desire to have these titles on their platform, these contracts never ended up being signed by Gala Games. We had gone as far as purchasing a new office building, fully prepared to accommodate new talented staff to work on these titles and Spider Tanks. Moreover, we had redirected all our focus and resources away from the revenue sources we had prior to our collaboration with Gala Games, so we would not be distracted from Spider Tanks and our future with Gala Games. We were fully committed to Spider Tanks, its community, and our future with Gala Games. We have made numerous efforts to address our concerns and advocate for mission realignment and sustainable collaboration with Gala Games. We have even been open to more definitive solutions, such as the sale of the Spider Tanks IP. I don't know why people are selling IP that is for like a couple 100,000 players, but okay, or even game media as a whole. However, even in these conversations, Gala Games remain stuck in their pattern of making promises without delivering on them, further deteriorating our trust. We felt incredibly misled and exploited. In October 2023, we had exhausted all avenues to steer Gala Games back to their stated mission and away from the path that would mean squandering Spider Tank's potential and endangering the future of our company and employees. We could no longer allow Gala Games to continue to use our commitment to the game and our IP to enrich themselves at the expense of the community. With heavy hearts, we were forced to fully disengage from the further investment in new content for Spider Tanks on the Gala Games platform. Since then, Gala Games has publicly defamed us in an attempt to shift blame for their shortcomings. Unbelievable! In their efforts to eliminate us, they have resorted to legal action and sought to unjustly take our intellectual property to further their own agenda. They have tried to portray us as opportunistic, greedy, and evil, a mere projection of their own behavior. As some of you may recognize, we are not the only ones who have fallen victim to Gala Games' actions. A pattern emerges when examining Gala Games' other projects: failure to deliver on commitments, shifting blame, twisting the truth, and reluctant to take responsibility. Other third-party developers are also entangled with legal disputes with Gala Games. The internal Vox team faced terminations and accusations of dishonesty. The Miranda's team was fired and labeled as slow and cooperative, and numerous other projects massively lucrative for Gala Games in the past have failed without any accountability being taken by Gala Games. Meanwhile, all of Gala Games co-founders, many shareholders, and many employees have been fired, bullied away, or sued, all supposedly for the greater good, according to the Gala Games that remains. We understand that our story contradicts much of the information Gala Games has been feeding you in the past months, but we possess an extensive record of communication between Gala Games and ourselves, some of which has been and will be further made public in the active legal dispute. This record should provide ample proof supporting our statement. For now, we know that this narrative will resonate with many individuals, players, guilds, or other parties who are or have been involved with Gala Games over the past years. If this applies to you, please do not hesitate to speak up. Yours, Game Media. On that, that's so damning. Like, to be honest, we've had some FUD pieces out there, but I genuinely do not know how you come back as Gala Games from this. We had the massive fallout with Mirandus, which everybody was like, okay, you're firing the team to go with like a Chilean team that's cheaper, that you guys can think work quicker. We've had a horrible amount of sales. Things were grossly overpriced, still kind of shoddy products here and there. Unbelievable. There's your wild FUD of the day. Unbelievable. Yo, I think this is like reverse FUD. Justin Judge orders SEC to pay 1.8 million. Oh my word. 1.8 million in damages for abusing its power against crypto company Debt Box. So the US government getting involved with different things. Kind of interesting to see that things are rewarded differently. Final two things here. When you check out NFTs, what's in the news? What are the headlines? Let's go through them. Damien Hirst paintings tied to NFTs were mass produced years later than claimed. Here's why holders say it doesn't matter. Okay, dude. Are Bored Apes still a thing in 2024? An investigation. Still talking about Bored Apes. These headlines to me prove that there has not been anything that is properly caught the eye within Web3 of these news states. Like, I understand there's clickbait and everything else, but the fact that we're not talking about anything exciting half of the time, we got a lot of work to do. Solana NFTs jumped 30% in 24 hours. What's behind the surge? And tokenization of art gaming in the future. NFTs, Now, when you go over to crypto, right? So that was NFTs. You search on Google. Now, crypto, here's what it has. How researchers cracked an 11-year-old password to a $3 million crypto wallet. Crypto lending firm Maple Finance unveils syrup yield platform and rewards token. Whales in the crypto space are gearing up for altcoin season. How much more interesting is it when we look at the NFTs, the drama, the chaos, than when you look into crypto? It's just another day on the block. Unbelievable. That's it for this edition of XFeed. Would absolutely love it if you can give this video a thumbs up. If you guys are wanting to support the channel, we do have a $2.99 subscription on YouTube and, of course, on Twitch. If you guys happen to use Twitch, Amazon Prime, any of those things, again, appreciate you coming on through. Miss your pitch dark, Casey Moulton, IC Amphibian.